Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm talking about all the books that I read in November. It wasn't actually that many because I've kind of got obsessed with Dead by Daylight. So I've basically been playing that in like almost all of my free time. I feel like I sound like I'm sponsored, but Dead by Daylight's so fun. It's like a survival kind of game where you play online with other people. You play with four survivors and you're kind of in this horror setting trying to escape from a killer who is also like another player. So you're all playing online together. It's so fun. I don't know how to explain it for better than that. I feel like I get obsessed with it every kind of winter. So yes, that may have affected my reading, but nonetheless, let's talk about what I read. Okay, so I'm pleased to say that I have actually read The Haunting of Hill House. Many years now that I want to read The Haunting of Hill House around October, Halloween time, and I've finally done it. I've done it. So I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars. It was very interesting. I feel like it's a book that you can reread as well because there's so much depth to it. So essentially we follow this group of people who have been kind of invited to this house where there's said to be like paranormal things going on, and you have one doctor who is investigating, and you have a member of the family who is there kind of chaperoning everyone basically, and then you have two other women who are invited along to kind of like investigate this house because they have like they've had different things happen to them that kind of make them have some kind of experience with supernatural things. So we follow them as they just are in this house, just like conducting this experiment, just seeing what if they can like. They're not really conducting an experiment actually. They're just kind of like they're kind of just chilling in the house, seeing what paranormal things happen, and things happen. It's not like modern because it's written in the 1960s and it's like a classic, so it's written with that very classic kind of like style, and it's just like this, it feels like there's so much character in it. The house feels like it's this big entity. It's not like jump scary horrific things happening, but there's lots of little creepy things that these characters are all experiencing, and different things that happen that you don't realize are happening until the end. There's lots of little things that happen throughout as well that when you finish it you kind of look back and you're like, hang on, like you start to like reread things differently and rethink about different passages and different things that have happened and realize that, you know, what's been happening there. But I loved it. I loved the ending as well. I feel like the ending was very abrupt, but I really enjoyed the ending as well. Like I wasn't sure what was going to happen at the end, but I feel like it was a good ending for the book. But yes, so atmospheric, so creepy. I'd love to reread this maybe next year. Maybe I'll just reread it because it's not too long, and I would highly recommend, if you're interested in it, to just pick it up. I feel like it's not too hard of a classic to read as well. I know some classics are quite like dense and like heavy to read and they take a bit of a while to get through, but I feel like this one's quite readable and not too difficult to get into. It's quite and there's enough happening. I think some parts I think are a little bit slower where you're kind of like getting the interactions between the characters, but yes, I'd highly recommend, if you want to pick it up, just pick it up. It's so short, it's easy to read, it's a good haunted house story. Okay, and then next up I read Cackle by Rachel Harrison, which I read because I wanted to read some more horror books by women authors, because I feel like I see a lot of horror and I read a lot of horror by men, e.g. Grady Hendrix. So I was like, okay, Cackle. I've seen Rachel Harrison's name around. I've seen her do lots of books. I know that she's always kind of on the Goodreads Choice Awards. So I feel like I'd give her a try. And I actually loved this. It's kind of like there's a lot of, it's like horror, it's like a horror book about a woman who moves to this kind of small town after a breakup, and she's really distraught, and she's kind of like making this new life in this tiny little small town where she's got a job, and she befriends this woman who lives in like a little castle by herself, and she's a bit, you know, she kind of has this witchy vibe about her, and everyone seems a bit cautious about her, but she kind of befriends her, and it's about this like their friendship and, you know, things that happen, things she finds out about her. It's kind of like fantasy-ish horror. Like there's horrific things that happen in here, but it's not like super, super scary. It's quite light-hearted horror, I'd feel like, but also kind of humorous and funny. And you kind of see the character learning stuff about herself. You kind of get this overall message at the end, which I really loved. It's very women being empowered, but I loved this. I loved the vibes, I loved the relationship, I loved all these little creepy things that were happening and uncovering, and just like this small town setting. It was just perfect. I really loved this. I found it so funny. I found it kind of horrific at times. There's a pet spider, which I feel like I never thought I'd be saying this, but there was a pet spider in this and he was so cute. I loved him. I'd highly recommend this. If you're not super into horror as well, I feel like this is a good book to read because it's quite low, like it's quite light on the horror. Like there's some little horrific bits, but I feel like they're not too bad. But yes, I loved this. I thought it was really good. I can't wait to read any more some more of Rachel Harrison books now. Next up, I read Rewitched by Lucy Jane Wood, which is a kind of cozy fantasy, but it's set in like our world, just with again witches. It's kind of like witches exist and they kind of have this secret little coven that kind of like, you know, there's just little low-key ways that witches do magic. They're not too overly, they don't have like a witchy world. So this is set in London, and we follow our main character who is going through a bit of a tough time in her life as she's approaching 30, which relatable. She kind of like she's just feeling a bit lost, I think, in her life. And then she finds out that as a witch, she has to go to this kind of grand meeting with all the witches, and they will deem her whether she's worthy of having her magic. She goes on this like kind of like cozy fantasy quest to try and like prove that she does deserve her magic and kind of like claim her magic, like refind her magic, I guess. Like, and I feel like that's the kind of metaphor of the book, refinding yourself and like your kind of like your magic, I guess, which I thought was very cute and wholesome and heartwarming. And I really enjoyed reading this. It was cute and cozy in this, like, with all these, like, fantastical elements that go into it and, like, lots of witchy vibes. I feel like this is perfect for, like, autumn. Autumn is a perfect read for autumn, I think. And just if you want something that's, like, lighthearted and kind of, like, wholesome and lifts you up a bit. That's what I feel like this is. I really enjoyed the characters. All the characters just kind of felt like it wasn't like too deep of a character study on lots of the characters. They kind of just were supporting characters, but they kind of play their part in the world, and it feels like you're really in this little society and you know like kind of the things that are going on there. There was like a little romance as well, which I feel like I didn't really care too much for. It was cute, but it wasn't like it's not the main part of the story. I think the main part is about this main character like discovering herself and rediscovering her magic and her passion for life and all the things that she's achieved in her life, even if they're not these amazing magical adventures. But she still goes on this little adventure, and it's cute and wholesome, and I really enjoyed reading it. And then next up, I read Twilight by Stephenie Meyer, or I listened to it. This was really fun to read. In my head, everyone says it's so bad that my expectations were so low that I actually found it more enjoyable than I think maybe I should have done. And I think I rewatched the films, so I can, like, in combination, it was just a fun experience, and it's just, you get a lot more about the characters, and you get a lot more about like Bella, what Bella's thinking, and Edward. And I feel like you get more personality than you do in the film. I feel like in the films they are kind of a bit just, you know, deadpan and awkward, and like they don't really convey lots of emotion. Whereas I feel like in the books you get like a bit more personality, you get more humor, you get kind of banter between them and like little jokes they do, and you get more scenes. Like there's just more scenes that are added in that maybe that don't happen in the film. You get like little backstories as well about different characters and how different things work. I feel like everyone knows what Twilight's about, but it's essentially a human falling in love with a vampire and their little kind of like love story. It feels very autumnal, and in conjunction with the films, it was just a nice cozy read. I listened to this via audiobook, and I feel like it was perfect for when I was going on walks. I'd always put it on, and it would just like motivate me to go on my walks to listen to this kind of like autumnal book that's in like nice autumn places. It was just fun to listen to, and I feel like if you don't take it too seriously, it's quite fun. It's just not, you know, the most literary, amazing, mind-bending, just, you know, thought-provoking piece of literature. It's just fun if you like Twilight, and if you grew up with Twilight, it's a fun read. And now I'm reading Midnight Sun. Twilight's from Bella's perspective, and then Midnight Sun is from Edward's perspective. So I'm kind of listening to the events again from Edward's perspective, which is actually really good. I feel like I'm enjoying it. I feel like I'm enjoying it more than Twilight. When I go and get more steps, that's when I'll be listening to more Midnight Sun. So I'm excited to read that and just kind of continue. Maybe I'll read the rest. I don't know really. I feel like it's a lot of investment. And if I have all the audiobooks, I could just use it as my like walking audiobook, because they don't take too much thought to listen to either. Also, I'm obsessed with this like lip gloss that I have. It's like, what is it from? Maybelline Plump. I think I got it free in a deal where you buy like 2 things and you get 1 free. I think it's always in Boots, like with the different makeup brands. And then I think I got it from Superdrug, because I think I got it at the same time. And then I use this like lip pencil as well with it. It looks better if you have the lip liner on. And like, I don't know if you can see this, but in the bottle and the pen, like they kind of look the same color. That's why I got them. But when you put them on, this pencil is a lot kind of like pinker. It's a lot pinker and a lot lighter than the actual lip gloss. This is more a bit more orangey, but I feel like when I look at it on, it doesn't look like that. So I don't know, it kind of just works. I wear it like almost every day now. Everywhere I go, I have it in my bag so I can wear it. That's as far as I go as a beauty YouTuber, which I feel like is a thing of the past. I feel like you don't get many beauty YouTubers now. Are beauty YouTubers still a thing? I don't really watch any. And I've really seen them come up on my feed because I don't watch them. So, like, are they still a thing? I don't know. I feel like everyone's on TikTok now. So if you watch beauty YouTubers, let me know. That's the extensive list of everything that I read in November. It wasn't too much because, like I said, I got distracted by Dead by Daylight. There's only 1 month left of the year, so I'm trying to get through as many books as I can before the end of the year and reach my Goodreads goal as well. I think I'm on track to do it, so I think I should just about do it if everything goes to plan and my reading continues at a steady pace. So that's great. Let me know if you've read any of these and what you've read in November. Happy holiday season. I feel like everything's getting Christmassy. I want to do some Christmassy videos, but I don't know what to do. I don't have any concrete ideas yet. So if you have any suggestions, let me know. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe if you want to see more from me. And I will see you in my next one. Bye!